Hi to all Gunners fans around the world. Hi to all football enthusiasts, football lovers all around the world. I welcome you to another edition of the Arsenal Alchemy. And today I am just trying to be calm, but you should know deep inside I am super happy. Deep inside I am very elated. Deep inside I am very joyful. Deep inside I am very, very ecstatic. Deep inside I am on top of the world. Deep inside we are back to second, 2 points off of Liverpool. Deep inside I am proud to be a Gunner. Deep inside I know we're going to win this league this season. I have said it in my previous posts. I have said it that I believe this is our season. This is our season. The points we dropped in the past games, I ascribe those points, I ascribe those mistakes to Mikel Arteta. But today he got it right. His starting 11 was spot on. You know, apart from maybe Mosquera coming in, that was a little bit weird. You know, I don't know if Saliba is fit. Saliba should be starting. That is my take. Except something happens or it's a lesser game, you can bring on Mosquera. But a game like this, in an atmosphere like that, the Newcastle ground, the Newcastle Stadium, St. James Park, that stadium is not for the Lily-hearted, is not for someone as young as Mosquera who has no experience in that kind of game. So I blame the coach for that slightly, but I understand there was Saliba had felt a knock during the warm-up. Saliba felt a knock during the warm-up, so I think it was an enforced change, you know. But yeah, I'm going to delve right into the game. It was a very, very dramatic game. It was what you call the game of the weekend. It was high intensity. It was played at a very frenetic pace. Every single player was up for it, especially the Newcastle players. Anytime we're in town, the Newcastle players, it's like something is pumped into their system. They want to die on the pitch when they play us. You don't see this kind of intensity when they play other teams. In fact, they've only won one game this season. So I was like, why is it that these guys, when they play us, they are all jacked up, they are all ready to go, they are all, they're all up for it. And indeed they were. But that being said, I have to say that the first 25 minutes of the game, we were in control of that game. We were putting shots at goal. The keeper, Nick Pope, he was fantastic. He was saving. There was this low drive from Eze. I thought that was a goal, but he managed to save it. Then, of course, the issue of the penalty, which to me is a stonewall penalty. It's a penalty. I don't care if the keeper had a little touch. It touched his leg. It's not like he kicked it. It just breezed through his leg, and he hacked Gyökeres down. To me, it was a penalty. Any other team, I'm gonna say this now, any other team that happened to is gonna be a penalty. I think this happened because it's Arsenal. It's Arsenal in St. James Park. You know that we don't get results, we don't get decisions in St. James Park. Everything just goes. They just want you to, okay, yeah, we've made this decision, get on with it, forget about it, get on with the play. So the Gyökeres was through on goal. He dribbled the keeper hacked him down. The referee rightly pointed at the spot, but VAR called him to the monitor to recheck the incident, and it was deemed that Pope had a slight touch to the ball before he hacked him. Okay, fine. And the penalty was rescinded. So, and when that happened, it kind of rejuvenated the home fans. It kind of rejuvenated them. The screams became louder, the noise became louder, and it kind of prepped Newcastle players on. So it was no surprise that the ball got to Mosquera under no real pressure. He wanted to play back to the keeper, but he played it to a corner. And they played a short corner with Tonali now driving the ball in. And Walter Maida, the big 6'6" giant, headed the ball in. There was a slight push on Gabriel, but it wasn't enough. To me, it wasn't enough. And the goal was rightly given. Now, for that goal, and that was in the 35th minute. Now, for that goal, I seriously blame Gabriel Magalhaes for that goal. He was not strong enough. Why was he stooping so low when the ball is coming? You got to stay strong. Stay with your man. At least try to jump. Now, the little tug on his back from Walter Maida made him lose balance and gave Walter Maida a free header, and he scored from it. It was a very good header. And, from then on, it was a big tussle between Gabriel and Walter Maida. Between them, they were like almost fighting on the pitch. But the first half ended 1-0 to Newcastle. I was beginning to get worried. You have to consider our very, very recent bad record at St. James Park. Last season, Newcastle won us 3 times. And those 3 times, we didn't score a single goal. So that got me worried. I watched most of the predictions, and everybody predicted it's either a draw or Arsenal loses this game. It's either a draw or Arsenal. Everybody predicted a loss for Arsenal or a draw. Nobody gave us a win. Nobody gave us a win. So I was beginning to get worried because we went down, and Newcastle is very good at transitioning. They're a transitional team. When they get the ball from defense, they play the long balls to the attackers, and the attackers are very fast. They play just like Liverpool, And so I was worried with that we could, commit a lot of men forward and they could catch us on the break. And a few times they tried it and it nearly paid off for them. So in the second half, they deployed a very low block. They were more defensive and tried to catch us on the counter. There were some scares. There was a time when Elanga came in. He crossed the ball. He tried to cross the ball. Gabriel Magalhaes tackled him, and the ball came off his hands. And I thought that was going to be a penalty, but it didn't. But to be fair to Mikel Arteta, he made some really good saves. He took out Bukayo Saka, whom worked his socks off. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice in this game, they worked their socks off. Bukayo Saka was being heckled. He was being tackled. So he was being heckled, tackled, without no referee protection whatsoever. And it was frustrating. And our coach was very animated on the dugout. He was like screaming, "Look, you got to protect the players." He wasn't protecting our players. He was protecting the Newcastle players. The same thing happens and he blows. Check out what he gave Calafiori a yellow card for. That was never a yellow card. Anyway, so going back to the game, Mikel Arteta brought in Merino, brought in brought in Merino, brought in Martinelli. And the first goal came, I think, in the 86th or 87th minute from Mikel Merino. A brilliant flick on header. We have to give it to Merino. He is not the best midfielder in the world. He's not the best 8 in the world. But this guy is a very good scorer. This calendar year, Mikel Merino is our highest goal scorer. This calendar year, Mikel Merino is our highest goal scorer. This guy has bailed us out a lot. We remember Leicester City last season when he came off the bench and scored a brace when we didn't have no striker. When we had no striker at all. He came on and saved us. Today, it was the equalizer was the most important of the goals. I know we eventually got the winner, but equalizer was the most important part of the goal. Because when we equalized, Newcastle became deflated. Yes, they tried to put up a run, once they tried to put up a run, then at a point they decided to settle for a draw. But we're not having it. We were not having it. In the 97th minute, Odegaard played a wonderful cross, and Gabriel Magalhaes, whom I think should be our captain, at least he should be the deputy captain, not Bukayo Saka, and he headed the ball home, and we snatched a very, very late victory at St. James Park. Yes, you heard that right. The last time we won there was about 3-4 years ago. It was a 2-0 win. It was a 2-0 win. Since then, we hadn't even scored. We don't even score. We don't even create chances there. But I thought this was a very big opportunity for us. Of course, they don't have Isak no more. So I thought maybe, but the new guy they got, credit to him, he scored against us and it was a good header, But, there was just something. When we scored that, we didn't celebrate too much. I think we learned from last week. Don't celebrate too much. Just go in and fight for that winner. Maybe that was probably what we didn't do last week against Manchester City, But, I have to say the substitutions that Mikel Arteta made, once again, made the difference in this game. Of course, Martinelli didn't score, but, everybody had something to contribute, And it was, in fact, when the goal went into the net, I was on rampage. I was screaming. I was jumping, That was the best way. That was the best way to finish a great weekend, whereby the results favored us. We saw Crystal Palace winning Liverpool yesterday. We saw how our former boy, Eddie Nketiah, scored the goal at the death, and there was no time or chance for Liverpool to go on and score another of their, late goal rampage or anything. Nothing like that happened. Nketiah scored the goal and the game was over. That's the best. That's the only way you can win this Liverpool team. So, of course, Chelsea lost too. You know me, I'm not a fan of Chelsea. I hate Chelsea. I have to tell you guys, I don't like the team. I don't like their fans. I don't like their bantering. I don't like the way they come out to Arsenal. I don't like the way they come out. I don't like the way they come out to banter Arsenal. I don't like it. And this was the perfect weekend for us. Manchester United lost 3-1 to Brentford. Chelsea lost 1-3 to Brighton. Of course, our former player. Look, our former players are they're showing up for us. Danny Welbeck scored a brace in that game against Chelsea. Edin Ketia, of course, scored the deciding goal, the winning goal against Liverpool. And to finish off the weekend, to win like this in St. James Park, when nobody gave us a chance, is actually fantastic. There was a lot of frustrations in the game. There was a lot of things I didn't like about our game today. Particularly from the defense. I didn't like how the defense set up today. I thought there was a little bit of sloppiness on the defensive part of our game. Eze to me was fantastic in the first half. In the second half, he kind of, faded off the game a little bit. Then Victor Gyökeres, I have to say this, I was the happiest guy when we bought this guy, but his all-round play, he's not decisive in front of goal. He looks too slow. His reaction in front of goal is not very impressive. He had chances today. Even the incident where he was hacked down for a penalty, he could have taken that goal. He didn't have to try to go around the keeper or anything. He could have taken that goal, but he didn't. I don't know if it's confidence, because we've been screaming, oh, they've not been feeding him, but today he was fed. There was a true pass they gave him. He started with a burst of pace, took the ball, was in a very good position to at least shoot on target. He decided to want to cut it, to bring it to his left. I don't know why he wanted to bring it to his left. But if he had his sight on goal, he could shoot. But, so this decision making, at this point, I just want Havertz to be back. Maybe even Gabriel Jesus to be back to help him. Maybe some little time on the sideline could help him improve as well. But, from what I've been seeing on him, his all-round play is not so good. Today, he wasn't so bad in the hold-up play. He did good. He helped the midfield. He tracked back, helped the midfield, did a lot of good touches, connected well with his players. I'm just hoping this is a sign of better things to come, that he is trying to learn about the Premier League, about his teammates, and hopefully in the future we can get the best of him. But for now, he has to improve. He has to really improve. There was no reason why in that first half we should have been 1-0 down. There was absolutely no reason. We were on top of that game. We were all up for it in that game. I don't know how we didn't. I don't know how we went behind in that game, in that first half. So, but it's all good. It's a tough game. It's a tough test. We saw this same Newcastle when they played Liverpool. They were even a man down, but it didn't show. It even seemed like Liverpool were the ones that were a man down. The officiating had to give 10 minutes or 11 minutes or something, some ridiculous number like that. There was more stoppages in this game than that game, but they gave them more time in that game. Eventually, Liverpool won that game through their youngster, Rio Nguma, and he scored at the death too. So it was a very unfortunate game. It was a 3-2 game, and it was very unfortunate for Newcastle. You can see how strong they are, especially when they meet bigger oppositions. They are all up for it. Even the game they played against Barcelona, I thought they gave a good account of themselves. I thought they were decent. If not for two wonder strikes from Marcus Rashford, I think that game would have ended a draw. It would have ended a draw at least. I thought they were decent in the Champions League. I think Newcastle is a very, very good side. They have a very, very good coach as well. And it was one of the big tests. Don't forget that we've played Manchester United, we've played Manchester City, we've played Liverpool, we've played Newcastle. And if you want to judge by last season how well they did, we played Nottingham Forest. These are tough games. And we're just 2 points behind Liverpool. So let's just keep believing. Let's just keep going. I think it's really going to be a wonderful season. I still think we're going to win the league. It's going to be tough, but every single game is going to be like this. Gyökeres is having a reality check. He's now seeing how tough and hard the Premier League is. He needs to have better decision making. He needs to try to take shots early, because the Premier League is not going to allow you to take 1-2 touches in the box. You need to be stronger. You need to be decisive. You need to be decisive, especially when you're in the box. That is a hallmark of a striker. But then let's not take the gloss away from the win. It was a wonderful win. I am so happy. And with that, we will come to the end. I come to the end of the show. And please, 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 guys, do like and subscribe. Subscription is free, guys. Do help this channel, guys. Press that subscription button, like, and engage me in the comment section. And that will be all for now. Till next time, it's goodbye.